Scientists have discovered the human entry point for the COVID virus and drugs to stop it. Not only does it stop the virus getting in, if you get the virus, it can stop it from becoming severe and stop you spreading it to others. This is incredible. Sudha Rao, the head of Gene Regulation and Transitional Medical Research at the QIMR Berghofer Medical Research Institute, is here now. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
This is an amazing time for you, your team, and the human race. Are these drugs a world first?
Yes, we believe it's world first, because what we've done is we've uncovered for the first time how the SARS-CoV-2 virus hijacks the human cells and replicates. And because we've identified a novel way that the SARS-CoV-2 hijacks the human cells, we've been able to develop first-in-class drugs to stop the virus from replicating.
That's absolutely incredible. And you guys are doing that all here at the QIMR in Brisbane. And you've developed 2 new drugs for the virus that cause COVID-19. So how do they actually work?
Yes, so that's exactly right. We've developed 2 new drugs. One drug really acts like a cloak around the human cells, preventing the virus from entering. And the second drug, if the virus does happen to enter, it stops the virus from replicating. So we've got 2 armors really to ensure that the virus doesn't replicate. And that really is important because it prevents severe disease then.
Right. And so what stage of a person's illness would they be given these drugs?
So very, very much about early stage. So if you think has been exposed to the virus, or they've detected to be positive for the virus, or they're showing early signs of infection, all of those are areas where this drug can be used. So it's really preventing the virus from replicating at high levels and preventing that severe disease, really allowing your body's own immune system then to have time to start to function and work in sync.
So Sudha, talk me through it, because it's a world that's completely foreign to me. So you're in the lab, you've got COVID-19 in a cage, and you're in your hazmat suit, and you got all sorts of microscopes and stuff looking at the cells. All of a sudden, you realize that you can kill it. You realize that there's a way to stop people from catching it, as a way to save lives, basically here. What happens in the lab at that very moment when you found that out?
Oh, it's amazing, because you've got to remember that this isn't done by me single-handedly. I've got an amazing team of scientists within my lab who've been working around the clock. We had this pandemic, and we've sort of gone, well, what do we do? How do we use our skill sets in drug development and clinical trial knowledge to be able to do something about it? And so you come up with a hypothesis, and then when you see in the cells that hypothesis is becoming real, you just want to keep moving forward, because at the end of the day, we want to get these drugs to the clinic, to the patients. That's when we feel like we've done our bit.
So what happened? Like, did you all go out and celebrate? Did you pop champagne? Does everyone get a pay rise? What happens when you discover a drug that is literally going to save millions of lives?
Well, the point, the way we work as scientists is we're never happy with what we have. So as soon as we've achieved the one step, we think about wanting to get to the next step and the next step. So people in my lab have said to me, when are we going to celebrate? And I say, well, we're going to celebrate when we start getting the drug to the patients.
Oh, come on, party pooper. Surely we can put some drinks on tonight somewhere. We can head down to the Caxton, have a few beers. So what's the next step, Sudha? Where do we go from here?
So really what the next step is, as I said to you, this isn't, even though this has been headed at QIMR, it's very much an international consortium effort. We've been very lucky to be working with world leaders in infectious diseases in Europe, where they've got the gold standard animal challenge model. So what this means is that we've done the work here. We're now testing the drugs in these gold standard animal models, and those early results are looking fantastic. So what we really want to do is take them to trial them into patients. So that's where we're at. But all of this also means that we're looking for funding to be able to get there as well.
Okay, so where does your funding normally come from with a drug like this? Is it state government, federal government? Do you have to approach the World Health Organization? Do you talk to big pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer? What's the story?
Yeah, so really what we've been very lucky within QMR. We're able to do this because at the very start of the pandemic, we got philanthropic funding. So using that philanthropic funding, we got to a place. We also got funding from our Queensland government, who's been incredibly supportive. But really, when it gets to fast tracking clinical trial, potentially a world, sort of multi-site clinical trial, we're going to be needing funding from various sources. So philanthropic, government, as well as pharma. So all of that we are in the process of doing.
Isn't it great that there's some people in the world that just go, I want to make the world a better place. I'm just going to donate some money to medical research. It's kind of a gamble as well, and you've got to pick and choose the scientists that you're throwing the money at. What makes you guys so good and above everyone else is the fact that you've just figured out how to crack through COVID-19 and save lives. How much money does it take to do something like that?
So really, this sort of work, even a couple of 100,000 gets it to a critical stage. So it's not about putting millions and millions of dollars necessarily. So really what we've worked out is just to get around $1 million will get us to get our clinical trial done as well. So we're not talking about huge amounts of money in terms of what the impact this is going to have in terms of helping people worldwide. So this is going to be a sort of drug treatment that's going to really be complementary to vaccines, because we're going to need multi-tools in this toolbox. So it's about investors understanding that COVID is here to stay. And if we want to be able to treat patients, we have to have multiple arsenals available to us. What we're trying to formulate this drug as is in the form of a nasal spray. So it's going to be that, we can basically, it'll be non-invasive and it can be used as a spray device. And that's the beauty of it. So, we can, if someone has to have the dosing several times or just once a day, all of those sort of things will determine the costing, and all of that will be dictated based on the clinical trial and the animal challenge studies that we're doing in terms of, do we only just need one spray or do we need multiple sprays? And does that differ in terms of a person's age and whether they've had vaccines or not, and so forth? These are all the things that we're doing because we don't want people to unnecessarily take too many drugs just for the sake of it. So this is, once we understand that, then we can understand the pricing and so forth as well. But the answer is a nasal spray device that we're formulating.
Sounds good. So how long until it passes the TGA and I can just go down to my local chemist warehouse and pick up the nasal spray?
So all that depends upon the clinical trial. Once the clinical trial happens, if the results of the clinical trial look good, many of these drugs for COVID are being fast-tracked for emergency use. So it could happen very soon, but it's all going to be based on how lucky we are, I guess, or how successful we are in getting funding to get this sort of fast-tracked in this process, because we want to do it properly and safely at the same time as well.
Well, this is such an exciting time and an incredible breakthrough for you and the team at QIMR. I guess a big shout out to all of your team, like you've already done. Anyone you'd like to mention in particular that's done such a great job, that is behind this incredible breakthrough?
So basically the key members of my team, so basically Sherry Tu, Michelle Molino, and Robin McWig have done an incredible job, working tirelessly, but also our key collaborators in IDMIT in France, who without their support, we can't have accelerated progress as we've done, as well as our philanthropic funders, because without their funding, we won't be here even talking to you now. It'll just be a concept on a piece of paper in my room.
That's so good. So it's all been punched out of Queensland and a little bit of help from overseas. Incredible win for Queensland, for the human race, for the QIMR Medical Research Institute. Thank you, Clive Berghofer. Thank you, Sudha. And one more thing I would like to ask you. You're a smart person. Everyone is obviously, I guess, thinking this out there while you're speaking to an epidemiologist or a scientist. So I want to ask you, rather than believing Facebook posts from my friend that works at the cinema, did the virus come from a market in Wuhan or a lab for COVID-19 research in Wuhan?
That's something I'm not an expert at really, so I can't really we say. I think we just have to wait and see in terms of all the debates. I rather just keep it that way, I think.
Spoken like a true scientist. Sit on the fence until all the research comes in. I totally get it. Sudha Rao, head of the Gene Regulation and Translational Medicine Research Group at QIMR, Berghofer Medical Research Institute. Thank you. We salute you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Well, we may not have won the state of origin, but we did find a cure for COVID. Queenslander! Okay, it's not a cure. Congratulations to everyone at QIMR Berghofer Medical Research Institute. My name is Mike Goldman, and if you would like to see more, go to 11network.tv and don't forget to download the 11 News app.